Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be saving this motherboard and recapping the VRMs for it. When I picked up this motherboard secondhand, I got it for free when I bought 2 video cards, and the gentleman knew I was into retro hardware, knew I was looking for some older stuff from this era, and he's like, hey, I have an old motherboard, it's got 2 capacitors that were leaking. I took them out, but it still powers on. He just was like, you should probably replace those missing capacitors. I said, no worries, cool, I'll take it off your hands. It's amazing. It's a great learning project for me because I want to level up my soldering skills. So with this motherboard, we got 2 missing capacitors right here at the top of the motherboard by our 4-pin connector. We still have 3 other capacitors that help control voltage regulation for the CPU, but we're going to remove the rest of them and replace all 5 with some brand new Panasonic ones that I bought from newarc.com. You can also shop at DigiKey, but they just didn't have it in stock for the exact size that I needed and the spec. Now, I did try to buy the exact same original KZE capacitors, but unfortunately, I couldn't get any on hand. So these Panasonic ones should do the job. So let's go ahead, get you closer in, fire up the soldering iron and my heat gun, and let's get removing some capacitors. So here's the motherboard. We're gonna quickly just take some things out. This really cool copper looking heat spreader OCZ memory, which is really, really cool. Unfortunately, I think one is starting to go bad. Just place those on my desktop over there. We're gonna take the CPU out. I kind of don't really have anywhere super safe to put it right now, so I have an idea. I stacked the socket 939 CPUs on top of each other. Okay, so in the package here I have I have the replacement capacitors, so we'll pull out the 5 that we need. First, what we need to do is clean out the holes from the previous guy that owned this motherboard. And when he ripped these out, he just did a really rough job. And I don't know how much I can show you that, but you can see how dirty they are. And there's still a little bit of the prong, even from the back of the motherboard. It's still there. So what we want to do is we want to desolder these. And you can tell he pulled one fully through, another one it kind of got weird. So the heat gun's going. I put the little tip on it. I've set the temperature over here. We're going to try to just heat up those spaces and use our solder wick to clean it up. This may take a minute. And then I should probably also start prepping the soldered iron. Try heating it from both sides. Okay, we're just going to blast the temperature at max. I think I'm basically trying to preheat the motherboard. So the motherboard's going to act as a big heat sink. It's going to really trap that heat. Try using the solder iron too, adding extra heat. Man, this is a game of patience. I'm going to take a small break on the camera until we figure something out a little bit. Okay, I got the time. Holes are nuclear. Okay, let's go. Over there. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, this one does not want to release. I was hoping for clean execution, but oh, we're going to do it. Okay, let's turn it back on. Or heat that spot. Oh. Okay, another one out. Last one, which I believe is this one. Helps when your soldering iron is nice and hot now. Here we go. Got another one. Now we have successfully removed the 3 old capacitors. So I have one here, there's another one, and this one too. So here's the 3. As you can see, these are a little fatter than the replacements. The replacements are a little taller, but just keep in mind about the polarity. So this white line, from what I understand, needs to match up with this white line, looking at the way they were installed originally. So what now I need to do is I need to clean up this side of the motherboard a little bit, and then we can go ahead with installing the new ones. I just need to make sure that all the holes are completely clear of solder, so then I can slide them in and solder them up and cut them. So, okay, so when it comes to these capacitors, there's a white line on the front of them, and there's a short and a long end on them. So basically, we want to line up the white mark with the white mark on the motherboard. So as you can see, every single one of these has white, noting the polarity of your capacitor, from what I understand. So what I want to do is basically I'm going to heat it up from the back side. I'm going to turn the heat gun back on and try to just heat up the back side of the motherboard right now. Okay, we almost got one. Okay, one is in. It's not soldered or anything, but it's just placed there, and I'm just gonna bend the tips away. Okay, so that's one. Let's do the next one. I think this kind of works. We got a little bit of heat going on behind the motherboard. So the next clip was going to show me installing these remaining capacitors. Now I only got footage of one installed because unfortunately my Canon corrupted the footage. So that kind of sucks, but I can explain what I did in the video. So as I was sliding each of these capacitors in, I was heating up the ends of the capacitor with the soldering iron. And what that did was keeping it right at the base of the motherboard as I'm sliding it in from the front and then holding the soldering iron on the back. It kept the puddle of solder that was in the holes liquid. So it slid in, I was able to then let it dry a bit, it held, and then continue doing the rest. And then I went through, added flux, and then soldered each of the tips and just held the soldering iron until I saw the solder go in. Some of them, the joints, I think I should go back and redo them, but you'll see in the video that we're all good. Okay, we're back from outside. I got some wire cutters. I got these little ones, slightly bigger ones, and kind of my full size. Funny enough, these cutters kind of suck. I'm going to try to cut them as short as possible so it's as much like the originals and we don't have giant prongs hanging off the end of our motherboard. Okay, there we go. Dab all the extra flux off. I mean, we could definitely clean it. Yeah, the solder joints came out okay. I mean, some are probably worse than others. I'm sure I probably could have heated them longer, but overall, I think they came out. We'll see if the motherboard boots. All the polarity is right on the motherboards, which is on all the capacitors, so they're all facing this way, which is, you know, meets what was there. It's done. Let's, I'll get you in and get you some B-roll, but we got it done. So just bringing you in closer here, you can see the caps all lined up. So we replaced this block of 4 and this one as well. These were the two that were missing. And here's just so you can see the old capacitor. This is it's a KZE 6.3 volt, 3300, I guess, UF. And I just tried to match the size and the specs of these. And as you can see, these are the same spec, just the Panasonic brand and slightly smaller. But they're still within the right size and they all fit, so these should actually work quite well, and if not work better than the originals because they're not 20 years old. And then just flipping around to the back side of the so this is the far one, and I need to clean up this motherboard and get some rubbing alcohol, but I don't have any. So right now we just got to clean up the flux. There's that solder joint, that one. There's the others. Yeah, they kind of get ugly. They're not as nice as the OEM ones. I'll definitely get better with time, but I think for my first attempt, I'm pretty happy with it. So let's now see if she will boot. So we got to throw some RAM in it, throw a CPU and a video card at it, because there's no onboard video, and let's see what happens. If it posts and voltages look good, then we've saved this motherboard. If it doesn't, then we didn't save this motherboard, and that's a big fail. So let's figure that out. All right, let's power this up. For some reason, the motherboard automatically turns on. It posted. Holy shit, it posted. Holy cow. I don't think I got keyboard input though. Do I? Okay. I got keyboard input. Delete to run setup. Okay, I'm hitting delete, guys. Hitting delete. CMOS error referring to defaults. Warning. System is now running in safe mode. Okay, cool. That's fine. Not listening to any of my commands. So we're going to try again. We are getting a little warm, and we don't have any thermal paste or anything holding the CPU down. So I mean, at the end of the day, we got it to boot, but we can't get into the BIOS because for some reason it's not registering my keyboard properly, which is just a basic Microsoft keyboard. Hey, we're in the BIOS. Oh yeah, let's go. Hardware monitor. PC health status. CPU core voltage is sitting at 1.5 volts on the V core, 3.3 on the 3.3 volt, 12 volts good, which I think is pretty good. I actually swapped the CPU out in this. I didn't want to test this with the X2 out the gate, so I grabbed one of my spare 3500 pluses, which is just a single core CPU. So it's a little more basic. So let's wrap up today's video. As you saw, it booted up first shot. I swapped out the CPU with something a little bit more basic, 512 megabytes, sorry, of memory, DDR1 400. The CPU is a 3500 plus single core Athlon 64, so I took out the 4200 plus when we were doing this, and I just put something more basic in, just in case, God forbid I did something wrong, and I fry my only dual core. And then again, as well as I just put my simple, this is like my testing GPU for testing this kind of stuff, which is a very old NVIDIA, positively cooled GPU, which is a 7300 GT. So this is great. We now have a base for setting up our next retro PC, which will be in the Thermaltake Armor Junior case, which I already have. We have spare memory, we have video cards, we have a GPU. So I can't wait to do this motherboard with the dual core, a decent GPU, 4 gigabytes of memory, have another power supply to 650 watts. We'll be able to use that and do a proper retro build to go alongside the other retro build, and we can play some Quake, Unreal Tournament 2004, or some Doom Deathmatch, or even Counter-Strike, or even Half-Life 2 Deathmatch, or mess around in Gary's mod. So there's a lot of possibilities. So I'm slowly building out my own little LAN of XP machines, and I really don't have room to have more computers. This stuff's fun. So if you enjoyed today's video, please remember to subscribe, like the channel, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. And we'll see you in the next video.